Chapter 5. Ogre Village 2. The pink-haired beauty falls asleep in my arms, forcing the two charging ogres to halt their attack. They watch me warily as I gently lower her to the ground before stepping away. Once I'm clear, however, instead of attacking or beckoning them to attack, I choose a less aggressive approach. Me. Why not simply surrender? Surely you've figured out by now that you can't defeat me. This fight may have been decided from the start, but we'd never dishonor our people. Young masters, please. Silence, old man. I will fight with honor. If I die, so be it. Sighing, I ready myself, but the minute they show that they are ready as well, I attack with blinding speed, disarming both with a single motion, before knocking both to the ground with a kick to the back of each's neck. With the two now defeated, the rest of the village kneels in recognition of their defeat. Surprisingly, the villagers on a whole seem rather calm about things, and it causes suspicion within me. Raphael tries to convince me otherwise, but try as she might, I just cannot buy it. Yes, they may have different traditions from what I know, but no race has ever willingly accepted subjugation as these do. Despite my reservations about the entire situation, when the chief offers to host a feast, I don't reject so soon we all find ourselves feasting together. Raphael informs me yet again that eating isn't required for me to survive, but I pay her no mind as the first dish is brought before me. Eating may not be a necessity, but I can't see myself giving up such tastes anytime soon. Before me is laid out a collection of what looks like beef with various vegetables. I devour it, but when the girl I'd chosen earlier gets forced before me carrying a pot they say she made herself, Raphael all but seizes control, just to get me not to so much as sniff what is inside. Claiming I'd have a better chance at living against the hero that defeated Voldora, she manages to convince me to give it to him instead. Voldora, ever showing off, takes the entire pot and tips it to his head to show that he fears nothing despite warnings from literally every single ogre in the village. To say the results were anything but shocking would be a lie. Even Voldora, a god to these people, was forced to force the entire meal and everything he'd eaten before it back up in a violent regurgitation. The chief laughs deviously as I stare in horror at the pot still being held by the girl I'd chosen. Seems this might be one of those situations where the girl is hot, but her cooking is not. It certainly explains the chief's willingness to toss her on the line. Losing her wouldn't have been too big of an issue for them. In fact, I may have been doing them a favor. Trying to smile, I one-up them all by making her the perfect woman. Standing, I watch as she flinches as though expecting some kind of rebuttal, but I merely walk over and offer her a hand. She accepts after some hesitation, and despite the mocking of her village, she keeps her eyes locked on mine. Me. Such beautiful eyes. The world fades away as I lead her toward the home they'd prepared for me. Inside, I find that there's a bed fit for two as well as a wooden bath. Other commodities include a place-to-place clothing and a lit fireplace, near which a small kitchen is present. Walking over to it, I guide her until she's standing between me and the only shelf near enough to the fire to also serve as a counter. She tenses as my hands wrap around her waist, but when I press a kiss to her neck she leans into my embrace. Despite the mood of the room, however, this isn't what I've come for, so I cut our moment short by reaching for the nearby knife. She panics and immediately tries escaping, but once she sees I have no intention of hurting her she returns. Slowly but surely, her hand in mine, I show her how to cut the nearby vegetables I recognize. I also add in a few staples before moving on to the meat. As we work, I explain each movement to her in detail, while showing her visuals of what each instruction means. She isn't quick to pick up on most of the details, but I don't rush her along and instead take things as gently and slowly as possible until she manages to prepare them on her own. It takes seemingly the rest of the night, but eventually, she manages to finish a meal on her own. It's not particularly fancy, but it is progress. Hesitantly, she presents the food to me as I wait around the table, and after Raphael confirms it isn't deadly, I take a bite. As I do, she watches my every move, and when I don't immediately respond she looks disheartened. She's about to turn away when I stand. Perhaps surprising us both, I pull her into an embrace before mentioning that the food came out perfect. Tears stream down her face upon hearing this, and she quickly returns my embrace. We remain like that in silence for some time before finally separating. The food's gotten a bit cold, but when she tastes her own creation more tears flood forth from her eyes. They are tears of joy, and as she continues eating, I finally decide on a name for her. Me. Xian. She looks up at me, partially confused. Me. Your name is Xian. Chapter 6. This we vow. I awaken to someone resting atop me. Opening my eyes shows Xian, head resting on my chest, still fast asleep. Seeing her at peace like this puts a smile on my face. I don't know why, but I've taken a liking to her. Perhaps it's due to how clumsy she is, or it could simply be my cock speaking, but she truly is perfect. Me. Xian. Xian? Me. It's time to get up. Her eyes flutter open and for a brief moment are ripe with confusion. When they find my own, however, a smile spreads across her face. The smile is short-lived and quickly replaced with concern and then outright panic, but for the split second it lasted, perfection. Xian? GG, good morning. Me. That it is. Did you sleep well? Xian? I did. TTT, thank you. Me. That's great. Come with me. She's already gotten off the bed and standing by, red with embarrassment, but when I offer her my hand she takes it and follows me to the kitchen. I'm tempted to ask her to prepare something, but my heart tells me it's best to take things slow. As such, once there I help her in preparing breakfast. Going over all the details I'd taught her last night, I tried to reinforce the information, and as it turns out it was certainly the right move as she'd forgotten about a 1/3 of the basics. Me. Xian, you can't drop the whole onion in like that. Xian? Sorry. Me. You have to cut it not like that. Xian? Huh? Me. Like this, see? Yes. Perfect. She beams in response and though it takes thrice the time it should, eventually we have an edible breakfast before us. Some of the food still ended up being cut too large, but progress is progress, so I congratulate her before eating. She joins me and together we enjoy our meal. Once done, I leave her inside to take a bath while I head out. She surprisingly asks if I'd join her, but given I don't need to bathe, and I doubt she's asking me to join her for the same reason I'd wish her to, I've chosen to simply start the day. Chief. You're finally up, Millard. We've been waiting. Me. Wah. I pinch myself to see if I'm still dreaming, but Raphael confirms that my eyes aren't mistaken. The entirety of the village is already up and gathered at my doorstep. Me. What brings you all here? Chief. We've come to pledge ourselves, of course. Those were the terms of the fight, were they not? Me. I thought we did that already? Chief. Not officially. Me. I see. Voldora. You are wise to submit to my friend. He. Me. We'll give you all names. All. What? Xian? What's going on? Why are you all gathered before my house? Turning, I find Xian standing by the door, eyes wide at the gathering before the door. Wait, did she say her house? I steal a glance at the chief and find him grinning his teeth out of his mouth. That bastard. Well played, well played. Me. Xian, they are here to pledge themselves. Xian? Wasn't that done yesterday? All. Xian? Xian? That's my name. All. Way I it? Xian moves to my side where she wraps her hand in mine before playfully sticking out her tongue toward her companions. It is both shocking and pleasing to see her this carefree, though it doesn't change the fact that I'll need to name them all. Raphael? Notice naming all 300 ogres will deplete magical reserves below 50%. The estimated time to full recovery is 2 days. Me. How come? Raphael? Please recall that naming an individual grants them substantial power based on various factors. The process itself depletes the magical reserves of the namer accordingly. Right, this world and its overly complicated laws. Fair enough. I suppose it will make them stronger and that was the original plan. Me. Very well. Before you make your oaths, however, I'd still like to name you all. It'll make things easier. Xian? But won't that take too much? Me. It'll be fine. Don't worry. She doubts my words but doesn't press further, so I refocus on the chief in time to see him step forward. I give him the name Ono and his 2 sons, Benimaru and Hiro. His daughter I name Shuna before moving on to the rest of the tribe. It takes a few hours as after the first 50 I struggle to come up with new names that aren't just variations of the names I've called prior, but eventually I finish up. Now, they all gather before me once more, kneeling as they swear their allegiance. All. We pledge our eternal allegiance to our king. Me. What? All. The great Lord Rimuru Tempest. Our children and their children and every child thereafter shall serve him with. Me. Just a minute. All. We shall serve faithfully and without. Me. Hey. All. This we vow. Me. What the hell is going on? Chapter 7. Life in the village. It has only been at most 2 weeks since the ogres who have all evolved into Kijin after being named jumped at the opportunity to name me their king and pledge their undying fealty to me, yet already things have improved around here. With my knowledge from my prior life and the aid of Raphael, I was able to teach them many practices, though our capabilities are still limited. Our construction has improved slightly from log houses to proper board walls, and as such the village is more aesthetically pleasing. In addition, thanks to the skills of the ladies, we were able to transfer clothing styles from my old world to this one. That said, the same cannot be said for our farming. While the Kijin are all capable fighters and thus make excellent hunters, the same cannot be said for their farming capabilities, and farming is equally as important. The only question is, how do we improve this aspect of our village? We're fairly few, so can't spare the manpower to both hunt and grow crops at the same time while maintaining all the other jobs. No, we'd need to expand our numbers. Xian? What troubles you, Millard? Looking up, I find Xian lowering herself to sit before me. She's taken it upon herself to be my bodyguard and secretary, despite me not requiring it. The others, upon learning that she now had an official position, all asked for one of their own, but ultimately only a few were chosen. The 2 brothers that had initially challenged me turned out to be the princes of the village, so I made them my generals by giving them the official title Samurai General. Their father maintained his title as chief, while his daughter earned the title Oni Princess, thus allowing her to also retain her title as a princess of the village. Me? I'm thinking about potentially expanding our village. Xian? Through conquest? Me? Potentially. Benimaru? A fine idea, Lord Rimuru. Benimaru, Shuna, and Ono all join us under the tree. We're just outside the walls of the village, but I'm still surprised to be joined by the chief, who's usually busying himself with anything he can find that needs doing. Me? It's only a thought for now. Ono? We could use more hands around here. The easiest race to subdue would be the many nearby goblin tribes. Me? Tell me about these goblins. Ono? Not much to tell. Green-skinned, weak creatures that ordinarily depend on trading with others and the protection of the storm dragon for survival. Me? Storm dragon, you mean Veldora? Oh no. Lord Veldora kept the balance of the forest for centuries. Me? Hadn't he been locked away? Oh no. His aura was enough to keep all in line. With his aura now gone, the forest has been rather active, and it is likely that if we don't conquer the goblins, another group will. Shuna? Couldn't we annex them peacefully? Me? Whatever the decision, it can wait until later. Right now I want to hear about the village. Shuna? The village? Me? Yes. How is life in our little community? Benimaru? Militarily, our forces are strong, but lack numbers, which could prove an issue in a large subjugation campaign. Oh no. All my sons think about is war. Hahaha. The village is fine. We want for nothing. Shuna? Not true. We lack the people to perform most daily tasks simultaneously. Oh no. I'm sure a few nights with our king would solve that issue. Is he suggesting that his daughter sleep with me? What a crazy thing to do, especially in front of the guy himself. Shuna? Even if I were to become pregnant, father, it wouldn't change the fact that we need more people. Wait a minute. Is she not against the idea? She didn't even attempt to play down his comment. What the hell is going on here? Xian? Besides, Lord Rimuru is mine. Shuna? Now I didn't say that. Oh no. Ha 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 ha. I'm pretty sure our great lord holds claim on all the women of this village, Xian. That was the deal struck, after all. Benimaru? Ahem, if you'll excuse me, I have some much needed business to attend to. Xian? Running away so soon? Benimaru? I am simply making myself useful. You should try. He's hardly spoken before she grabs a hold of my hand and shuffles closer until my upper arm sits squarely between her breasts. As she rubs up and down against me, Shuna's skin goes from light pink to full-on red. Ono's somehow already left the scene, and Benimaru practically disintegrates before my very eyes. Xian? My lord, take me here and now. She pulls aside her jacket just enough that one of her nipples shows, but we're interrupted by a now fuming Shuna. Shuna? Xian? She glares daggers at her, and Xian glares right back. For a moment, I think they're about to break into an all-out fight over me, but the moment is shattered entirely when I'm contacted via thought communication. Sawe? Lord Rimuru? Me, yes, Sawe? Sawe? There is a group of goblins approaching the village. Chapter 8. The Goblins' Request. We're standing before the gates of our village. Despite goblins supposedly being a far inferior race, I'm not taking any chances, so we gather in full force to meet the approaching party. I'm positive we all look menacing, so it comes as a surprise when the goblins don't immediately run away upon seeing us, yet they don't take another step forward either. Instead, they fall onto their faces in terror. "Oh great ones! Forgive us for trespassing on your lands. We thought this was the Ogre village." "Huh? Xian? Oh? What business do you have with us? Have you come to play? PPP play? Xian? My lord, allow me to." I raise my hand silencing her. Raphael's already explained to me what's likely going on here, and after some thought, I agree with her. These goblins most likely came here to seek military aid from the ogres, but since no ogres remain in this village after they all evolved, they think we are another village. Me? Why are you here? We were sent BBB by our chief TT to seek help. Me? Help for what? Help in defeating the Deerwolves. Deerwolves, huh? If I remember correctly, they are stronger and larger than normal wolves. In my world's mythology, they'd be more akin to the primordial wolves than one of its subspecies. Xian? You're afraid of little pups? Benimaru? My lord, this could be the chance to subjugate through both peaceful and militaristic means. Send me a Nile. Xian? Like hell. Lord Rimuru will of course send me. Voldora? Bahahaha. I am the storm dragon, Voldora Tempest. I wouldn't even need to move to crush them into submission. Sigh. Me? There is something I'd wish to discuss first. Sir? Me? You'll take me to your chief but first. Looking around, I took in the expectant faces of everyone gathered alongside me, but ultimately decided against taking any of the girls. I can already see how picking one over the rest will create problems the minute I leave. Me? Benimaru? You'll accompany me. Benimaru? My lord. Me? Sawe. Sawe. I'll scout ahead at once. Xian looks at me expectantly as if expecting me to pick her next, and I know I'll need to choose my next words strategically to avoid needing to subdue her by brute force. Me? Xian. Xian? I am ready to depart. Me? I have an even greater task for you. She seems confused but remains silent, so I continue. Me? You'll be tasked with protecting the village while I'm gone. Everyone else will be continuing with their daily duties, so if you can't handle. Xian? I'll do it. Checkmate. Smiling, I pat her on the head before turning towards Voldora. He wants to join me, but it wouldn't do for both of us to leave the village. Thankfully, Raphael comes up with a solution almost immediately, and soon I'm handing him a fresh copy of manga from my world recorded onto paper for him to explore. He seems uninterested at first, but the minute his eyes catch the first page, he's off. Me? Now then. Let's go. It takes a while to get there with the goblins moving much slower than we do, but eventually, we make it in the dead of night. The village must have been alerted to our approaching presence because they are all awake and armed, though shaking like trees in hurricane winds. Around their village, there's no defensive structure to keep enemies out besides the armed goblins themselves, and going by how frail they all look. Benimaru? Not much. Me? It is a start, at least. Sawe. My lord, the Deerwolves are approaching from the south. Should I intercept? Me? How many? Sawe. 105. Me? Let them be for now. As the connection with Sawe drops, I turn just in time to see an old goblin approaching. When he's within an acceptable distance, he falls to the ground and prostrates himself before Benimaru. Oh, great one. Benimaru? Shaking my head, I silently tell him to allow them to continue. He does, and from the chief, we quickly learn the situation. Since the departure of Voldora's massive presence, various monsters have been seeking to establish a foothold in the forest, and these dire wolves are merely one such species. They're seeking to wipe out the goblins to claim this area as their own and aren't willing to negotiate. Chief. Great one. Please lend us your aid. Benimaru? Me. What are you willing to give me in return? The chief's eyes widen upon hearing me speak, but he is quick to adapt, shifting his prostrating form from Benimaru to me. Chief. I'm afraid I don't understand. Me. You can't expect us to aid you for free. Chief. We'll pledge our undying loyalty. Me. Oh? You'd wish to serve me? What can you offer? Chief. It is true, we are weak, but we'll give it our all. There is no job too lowly if it means serving one as great as you, oh great one. Isn't he desperate? I suppose the plan was to subjugate them, but it still begs the question of what to do with the deerolves. Chief. The deerolves. They've returned. Panic erupts through the goblin village as terrified families run to and fro seeking shelter from the impending chaos sure to follow. Me. Goblins. Fear not. Pledge to serve me faithfully forever and I will help you. All at once, they all fall flat to the ground, begging and pleading while spouting various oaths of allegiance. Benimaru smiles upon seeing them fully acknowledge me as their master. Benimaru. My lord, allow me to vanquish those who dare. Me. Let's see if we can talk things out first. Benimaru. Lord? Ignoring him, I walk over toward the site of the village where the dire wolves were reportedly seen advancing on. Once there, I easily spot the pack standing some distance away from the borders of the village. Suoi's already set up sticky steel thread traps all around the village, so when the pack charges, the first few get cut to bits. The rest halt to avoid further casualties, but one continues forward. He must be the alpha. Ryauer. I will not be stopped by such. He gets cut off as his fur gets trapped by the sticky part of the threads that make the trap. Now hanging helplessly, I don't even spare him a second glance before having Benimaru behead him in a single strike. With the death of their alpha, the rest of the pack seem hesitant to continue, but one still manages to muster their spirits. Before they can charge to their deaths, however, I magnify my voice so that all can hear. Me. These goblins are under my protection. Any further attacks against them will result in your complete annihilation. Despite my warning, they begin charging forward. In response, I stomp the ground with my right foot, creating a miniature earthquake that levels everything within a 1-mile radius. Despite this, they continue pushing forward. Benimaru is about to attack when they finally stop and prostrate themselves before me, declaring that they too wish to serve. The move surprises us all, but the goblins soon rejoice upon learning that their village is saved. Chief. I can't believe it. Rigor. My boy. Your wish to see the village saved has come true. Me. Rigor? Chief. My eldest son. He died fighting to protect the village. Benimaru. He was named? Chief. Yes, by a passing Magian named Jelmed. Benimaru. I see. Chief. We're saved. Goblins? Here. Chief. We're saved.